everybody, and welcome to the United Stand countdown to kick-off. Manchester United are back in action away from home, Bramall Lane against Sheffield United. 8 p.m. kick-off. There's been some brilliant games so far today, but there also has been some very, very sad news, and Sir Bobby Charlton unfortunately has passed away at the age of 86, and everybody here at the United Stand sends the condolences to the family of Sir Bobby Charlton, and what an amazing player he was for Manchester United, but not only for Manchester United, for England, and a true footballing legend. So our condolences goes out to his family, and may he rest in peace. But thank you everybody for joining us for the build-up show. There's so much to talk about. There's so much to kind of digest and get into, and we are joined with Faz, and also Ricky as well is joining us from the opposite set. So great to have you both with us. I mean, Faz, I'll come initially to you. This game, it is a must-win, isn't it, for Erik ten Hag?
Yeah, every game is pretty much must-win at this point for Erik. But more so importantly, it's how he dispatches Sheffield United. I think, for me, I've said it before, we must score plenty of goals against Sheffield. Just to get our goal differences in order compared to the likes of Brighton and other teams. I think at the moment Chelsea are winning as well against Arsenal, which doesn't help us at all in the table. But big questions will be asked of Erik ten Hag from myself if he doesn't manage to score loads of goals with his preferred starting 11. We all did our front three. We all have our starting 11, but he goes out in the presses and says Bruno Fernandes is a great right winger. Midfield is not the issue. Harry Maguire is one of the key players in his team. With all that being said, if he goes out to pick some of those players in the positions today and he doesn't have a good performance, I'm not going to be happy at all. I'm not happy anyways with the season's going, but especially today against a team like Sheffield, with no disrespect to Sheffield, though, of course.
I think you have to, you nail it on there. It's like Sheffield United obviously is a must-win game away from home, but every game is a must-win game for Erik ten Hag right now. We've got to get the points on the board. I mean, Ricky, I'll come to you. Obviously, you weren't here for the Brentford game. Last-minute winner from Scott McTominay, which kind of saved us in that. What are you expecting to see differently today, and what do you actually just want to see from Erik ten Hag and his team today?
As I say every week, I want to see us start playing better football, and you just mentioned the last-minute winners. Actually, 2 injury time goals, wasn't it, that won that game? So we've not been, obviously, once that happens, there's a bit of euphoria for a few days. But then when the dust settles and you think about it seriously, we haven't been playing well. We didn't play particularly well that day. And and a substitute comes on and gets us out of jail. I want us to start playing good football, making more chances and winning games. I'm not necessarily saying we've got to score 4 or 5 goals. I know Newcastle got 8 here the other week, but that's a freak result, surely. But looking like you can score 4 or 5 goals and maybe at least being a goal up at half-time and maybe winning by 2, but looking like you could have scored more, I'd settle for that. I would absolutely settle for that.
Yeah, I mean, just playing better football is exactly what we want to see. Quickly, we do have a Sheffield United fan about to join us here on the build-up, which we always like to do. But quickly, Ricky, Scott McTominay, a lot of talk whether he should start or not. Do you think he should?
Should he start? I think Casemiro's injured, isn't he? Is that correct?
Yes,
I don't think he's there. So we've got Amrabat, we've got Eriksen could play. We are top heavy with midfield players. Mason Mount, obviously, Bruno, Hannibal. We're top heavy with midfield players. We really are. But I think I said to you earlier, Beth, too many people think that there's a massive gap between all these midfield players. I don't think there is. So I think you could more or less throw all the names in a hat and draw them out, and it wouldn't be too much wrong with it in comparison to what you might be able to pick. So if he wants to start him, I don't see any reason. We had, I mean, these fixtures against these bottom teams can be tricky. We beat Burnley the other week 1-0, and he went with a bit more of a defensive shape, and McTominay played. And we ain't keeping too many clean sheets, are we? And he played in that game. I think that's the last game he started, so why not?
I won't be surprised if he starts. And speaking very highly of him, we have a super chat in from Darren Mulaney. We have a few younger players today, and we have to score 5 at least. Actually, we just need to win the game, to be honest with you. Daniel Derbyshire says member for 36 months. Member for 36 months. Thank you so much for being a member of the channel. But we do have Sheffield United fan with us. Alex, is it Alex? Alexander, are you there with us?
Alexander's my government name. Everyone calls me Hal.
Hal. Okay,
yeah,
nice to have you on the channel. Thank you for coming in and speaking to us. First off, straight away, what are you expecting from Sheffield United today? Do you expect Manchester United to come there and give you a tough game? What do you want to see from your team?
Passion, desire, fight. We can't compete when it comes to on the pitch, player for player. So you're looking for other things. And in the past few meetings against Manchester United, we've managed to score goals. We managed to score a lot of goals. Last time we played at Old Trafford, we won. We had a very memorable 3-3 at beautiful downtown Bramall Lane. Last time there was fans there. So we have history of causing Manchester United problems. And I think with the weather, which will be a factor, the Blades fans getting on top, which will be a factor, we might cause a shock.
Well, Bramall Lane, obviously, 8 p.m. kickoff. Everyone's going to have been out all day. The atmosphere will have been building. The atmosphere definitely will be there. And you guys need to win. You've not won at home all season. So you need to win. And what a statement it would be to win against Manchester United, even though we haven't been the usual Manchester United this season. We haven't been the usual Manchester United in a long time. But Faz, did you want to ask the question as well?
Yeah.
Sorry, Hal?
Yeah, I do. Thank you for joining us as well. I appreciate you. I want to ask you a bit of a question more so on the tactical side. So, your manager has decided to change his tactics compared to last season, and he's possibly going to experiment with this 3 at the back, 5 in the middle, and 2 up front. How do you think the fans are responding to it, and how do you think he's going to set out today? Because against Newcastle, it was just absolute abuse of space from Newcastle, what they did to Sheffield. Do you think he changes his formation totally, or he sticks to his principle, considering all the injuries you have as well?
Yeah, we've got a lot of injuries. Oh, absolutely awful amount of injuries. I've never known a season like it, except last season. It's actually been a year to the day since we lost Reece Norrington-Davies to injury. You know, when someone pulls a hamstring, you don't expect to be saying, here we are 365 days later, and they still haven't come back. You know, that is a huge concern. A player that should have gone to the World Cup with Wales, and it's not always a guarantee that Wales are going to get to a World Cup. So that's, on a personal level for Reece, hugely disappointing. Also, Jack O'Connell, who Manchester United fans will remember because he tormented Manchester United at Bramall Lane in that 3-3 that I mentioned before. He's had to retire at an incredibly young age. These are crucial players that I've just mentioned 2 of them, and there's so many more that are out injured. In terms of tactics, you never know. Will we finally change to a back 4? That's been hinted because we do have so many players out. Will we stick with 3 at the back? That's been something that Paul Heckingbottom seems to enjoy employing, as did Chris Wilder before him. Hasn't really worked this season. Against Newcastle, he did actually try to change things. He did, in-game, try to change it second half. He did go for it at the back in that match, but, I mean, we got torn apart. So if you're looking for an example of should we go for it at the back, one game there says no. We'll see.
I wanted to quickly just jump in and ask you, where do you think you can get at Manchester United? Obviously, this season, Man United have shown weaknesses. Where do you think your team can exploit us? Because there's definitely weaknesses there to exploit.
Well, that's a tough one for me to answer, purely because, I mean, if you want experts on Sheffield United, I'm the man. If you want expertise on Manchester United, I'm not the man. I haven't watched Manchester United this season, so I don't know.
Okay, interesting stuff. Lastly, I wanted to just ask you, I always ask every single opposition fan that we have on this question, that if you could have one Manchester United player to join Sheffield United and play in your team, which one would you pick?
Well, me, Bruno Fernandes. And
why would it be Bruno Fernandes?
Because we share the same face, and I think my nephew's a massive Manchester United fan. I've been spending the whole day with him, and he would like that because he likes to tell his school friends after he just recently turned 8 that his uncle is Bruno Fernandes. Well,
I love that. Lastly, Paul Heckingbottom, do you rate him as a manager? Do you want him to stay?
Yeah, I do rate him as a manager. I do want him to stay. It looks like we're going down. You know, who's better to get us back up than a man who has on his CV a previous track record of getting a side promoted? Some people might find that quite defeatist. I like him as a man. I like him as a manager. I like how he speaks. I back him.
I like that. I like to see fans backing the manager. And I don't think you should... I mean, it does look like you're going down, but at this point in the season, you can never guarantee that.
And they had a very shaky start last season as well, and they managed to claw it back and do really well. And they've obviously had freak injuries, but I think Sheffield will probably be active in the January window, try and get some players in if they can, to help them stay in the Premier League.
Well, they did sell some players in the summer that I feel like you should have kept hold of. But lastly, score prediction before you go.
Oh, I'm really bad at these. So whatever I say, you can guarantee it won't be this. But I think if we play at our very, 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 I'll add one more, very best, and Manchester United have a slightly off day, best I could hope for, 1-1 draw.
Everyone always comes on here and when they're the underdog and says a draw, and I like it. I mean, definitely wouldn't rule that out. Bramall Lane is going to be bouncing. Good luck for the rest of the season, but not tonight. Thank you so much for joining us, and yeah, good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you. Cheers, appreciate it.
Bye. Well, that was really nice. I always love to get a different fan on. And Ricky, Bruno Fernandes.
Why on earth would he take a player who won't get in their team? What would he do that
Oh,
for?
Ricky, shut up. Shut up. Come on.
They have a fantastic player called Gustavo that plays in the midfield. I don't know if you've seen him or know much of him. He scored against Spurs with a left-footed volley. He's a really good player. One to watch out for today. He can cause you a lot of problems, especially if they feel like that we've started slow in the game that Man United do, and if we end up letting them get comfortable, he's one of the key players that will end up causing us a lot of problems. So one of the reasons why I'm interested to see how Eric decides to set out his team. No matter what the lineup is, though, we know one thing for sure, that the players are going to come out the pitch and going to play a position that we didn't want them to. That's for sure, right? Putting Bruno on the right, whatever. I wanted to ask as well, Ricky, what did you think of the manager saying that Bruno Fernandes is a really good right winger?
I was absolutely amazed for him saying that. You know, that's as if I don't know how to explain it. It's almost as if he's sort of saying that he's our best right winger, which he does. You know, whenever he puts an extra midfield man in, he doesn't play Anthony on the wing, does he? He did it 2 or 3 times last season to fit Weghorst in the team, and Bruno played on the wing and Anthony got dropped. So he really does think that Bruno's our best right winger, I think.
I mean, interesting stuff. Daz Salford, 69. I don't think he does, because he wouldn't have bought Anthony. But Daz Salford, 69, says, Beth was only having bands with you the other day when I said Dave saves, just because I don't think goalkeeper was the top priority. Thank you for your super chat. Tony Nugent says, member for 14 months. Fair play for you all. Keep going with this shit show of a club. Great work. Thank you for your super chat there. And Harry Maguire says, we'll be winning this for Sir Bobby. Go United. Absolutely. Absolutely will. And that's I mean, there's going to be a minute's silence tonight at Bramall Lane. Obviously, Sir Bobby will be in the minds of everyone, Manchester United tonight, and hopefully that can give us some extra motivation to go out and win the game.
Not just everyone, the whole. I think the whole world. This is just not a loss for Manchester United. It's a loss for the whole world. He was such a great person on and off the field as well. It'll be a great miss. Such great accolades as well. So yeah.
We will have team news coming in just a couple of minutes. We do get it a little bit early, so stay tuned for that. But Faz, a lot of talk about Harry Maguire potentially starting tonight. Lindelof, Varane, all available. Johnny Evans, Maguire. Who are you going to go for?
I'm not picking Varane to start today. Impossible. Absolutely not picking Rafael Varane. I'm picking Lindelof and Harry Maguire, or Johnny Evans and Lindelof to start, because there's so many games to play this season. I want to make sure we can manage the players, the gaffer's managing the players accordingly. The way the injuries have piled up this season has actually caused us to put a lot more load on the other players, if that makes sense. And I don't want to be in a situation where we're using Rafa Varane in a game against Sheffield, because I don't think we will need. I don't expect Man United to be on the back foot defending so much. So there's no point playing Rafa Varane. Whereas against Copenhagen, a team that we play in 3 days, they've scored first in both of their Champions League games against Bayern and Galatasaray. So they're a team that I'm likely to use Rafa Varane for his expertise and his experience. A game like today, Harry Maguire's had a good game against Brentford. He's according to him, and factually, his win ratio is good whenever he plays. And let him build on that this season, seeing as he's here. Lindelof, again, decent performances, but a bit shaky at times. So yeah, I would play Lindelof. Johnny Evans has absolutely shot everybody up. So he deserves a chance as well, but I'm not risking Rafa Varane at all. I
understand your point completely, and I wouldn't risk Varane today either, but can I just say, Mudrik's just scored an absolute screamer for Chelsea.
Has he?
2-0 now for Chelsea. It's a screamer. David Raya should do better. He really should, but he's literally from the wing. It's a cross. It's a cross that goes bottom corner, but Yeah, brilliant goal
They've
there
turned
from
the corner, Chelsea, aren't they?
From
I
Mudryk.
think they're going to be competing with us for the top 5, Chelsea, if we're competing for the top 5 at all.
Ricky, you're bigging us up there. I don't know. I was saying today with this game, I didn't know which way I wanted to go because obviously I want Arsenal to kind of compete with City up there for the league. But also at the same time, you look at Chelsea and you're like, they're probably competing with us. But it's a weird one. It's a weird situation. But I really don't like Arsenal either. Would have been nice to have a draw, but I mean, it's whether Arsenal can bring it back 48 minutes in. Aidan says, same Beth, what's the lineup going to be? The lineup should be with us very, 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 very shortly. It should be coming any time now. As soon as we get it, we will bring it to you. But Ricky, your 2 defenders, would you play Maguire?
I'd stick with last week's. I don't think they did anything wrong, even Maguire. You know, I'm not Maguire's biggest fan. I was probably the first person to call him out when everybody thought he was an £80 million centre-back. But he's not... you know, he's not as bad. I mean, I didn't mean to paint him as badly as that. I just compared him years ago to Chris Smalling and said Chris Smalling was better. But I think Chris Smalling's a really, really good player. So it wasn't such a damning statement, you know what I mean? So I don't think he's as bad as people make out, and I thought he had a perfectly solid game last week. So I would stick with Maguire and Evans this week.
Well, the starting 11 for Manchester United is in. I've also got the bench here as well.
Are you sure it's correct, yeah?
Yep, I'm sure. It's very, very sure it's correct. We've got it from our official source, which is Heinz Ketchup. I'm joking. We've got it is correct, this lineup, but I will read it out. I've got both teams and I've got the subs as well. So in goal for Manchester United is Alte. I'm joking. In goal for
I was going to throw this iPad at the camera then.
It's Andre Nana in goal, and your back 4 today is Diogo Dalot right back. Sorry, it's not in the correct order, so I'm trying to read it off. So Onana in goal, Diogo Dalot right back, Victor Lindelof and Harry Maguire as centre-backs. Left back, we have... Sorry, guys, I'm trying to read it. It's so small.
Regulon there. Regulion, not a
Producer, could you send me the lineup?
I am trying to look, but I can't see. Regulon's not even in the squad.
Sam, could you send me the lineup as well?
Regulon's not in the squad. Right, sorry, guys, I've got it. Onana in goal. Onana in goal. You've got right back Diogo Dalot. You've got your centre-backs as Victor Lindelof. Oh. No, it's not.
Johnny Evans isn't playing, is
Johnny
it?
Evans is...
So it's Maguire and Evans and Lindelof will be left back again.
Amrabat is left back.
No, Lindelof is left back. Lindelof's left back. Dalot's right back. Evans and Maguire are the 2 centre-backs. And then you've got a midfield of Amrabat, McTominay, Bruno Fernandes, and then you have a front 3 of Anthony, Marcus Rashford and Højlund. So your bench, you've got Bayndé, Mount, Martial, Eriksen, Garnacho, Varane, Pellistri, Donny van de Beek and Hannibal. So Mount's dropped to the bench. Interesting stuff. So just to recap everyone on that, just to make it clear, because I had it through in a completely wrong order, so I struggled to read it out. But we've got Andre Onana in goal. Right back is Diogo Dalot. Centre-backs are Maguire and Evans. Left back is Victor Lindelof. 3 across the middle is Amrabat, McTominay and Bruno Fernandes, and your front 3 is Rashford off the left, Højlund up front, and Anthony off the right. The benches: Mount, Martial, Eriksen, Garnacho, Varane, Pellistri, Donny van de Beek, and Hannibal, with Altay Bayndé there as well. No Regulon in the squad, which is very interesting because I thought he was fit.
Not ready.
Not ready. Not ready at all. Ricky, thoughts on the lineup?
As we spoke earlier about trying to win the game comfortably. It's a decent lineup, but it's not good enough to win the game comfortably. So it's just a pretty normal lineup. We'd expect Amrabat to play if Casemiro's not fit. Tom, if you take it that Amrabat's taken Casemiro's place, whose place has McTominay taken?
Mount.
Mason Mount's place, of course.
Oh no, because Bruno was playing off the right.
Yeah.
What was the midfield 3 last game?
It was
It was Casemiro. It was Casemiro, Amrabat, and
Mount came in at half time.
And Mount, yeah.
Casemiro.
So yeah, he has taken
Casemiro.
Yeah.
Amrabat. Mount.
But Casemiro's registered as injured.
What are your thoughts, Faz, on Mount being benched?
Don't like it. Don't like it because last season we used to say give Fred an opportunity when Fred had the moments where he was performing well. And the manager never actually continually rewarded Fred. I remember against Barcelona when Fred had a really good game. There was other games as well when Fred was doing well. He was scoring, good few goals, having good inputs, but the manager wouldn't consistently give him opportunities. McTominay's, in essence, saved Manchester United before international break, and now he's gone and put McTominay in there. It's very interesting, considering how badly he wanted to sell McTominay and the club wanted to sell him. Mason Mount, a huge player, a huge amount of Premier League experience. One of the players he clearly wanted, apparently. And now he's keeping him in the bench, which is very interesting, giving him the big number 7 shirt as well. And I expect a player like that to be stepping up in any game. So, yeah, I find it very interesting.
I've got to be honest, I'm quite disappointed that Mount's dropped to the bench. I feel like Mount's done enough to start in the starting 11. I think he's been pretty good the last couple of games. Obviously, he's not absolutely torn it up. He's not, set it on fire, but I think he's been a very, very good player in that midfield, and I think he's actually was unlucky to be the sacrificial lamb in a lot of times being taken off, when realistically there was other players that probably could have been taken off before him. I think it's a little bit of a cop-out to put Mason Mount on the bench, if I'm being honest. In my opinion, I would have started him today, especially against Sheffield United. He's wearing the number 7, he's just sort of integrating into the squad. I think it would have been a really good game for him to kind of
maybe he's feeling under the weather, we don't know.
Who wouldn't you have started, Beth, if you would have started him?
I would have started him instead of McTominay. But that's just, I know McTominay scored 2 goals, but he also only had 2 touches when he came on. I know it was a short amount of time, but McTominay he's great for throwing on a player to get some height in there. He's got good technicality, can score you a goal. But to play 90 minutes of football, I would have preferred to have Mason Mount in there.
But the reason he's probably put McTominay in there to be protecting goals coming in from corner kicks and free kicks. Probably that's one of the main reasons
They're
why.
Probably going to throw eyeballs in.
Yeah,
really?
I suppose they're going to try offset pieces.
But you know what this means, and I hate to say it, and I hope I'm wrong, but you're welcome to hoofball. You're going to see it again, where Johnny Evans looks at Andre Onana and says, "Don't give it to me," and Maguire looks at Johnny Evans and tells him, "Tell him, don't give it to me as well. Just put the ball forward," and you're going to see a lot of hoofball from Bruno Fernandes trying to find Marcus Rashford.
I'm very disappointed in the sense of, the lineup is decent, but I'm disappointed in the sense of Reguilon not even being in the squad, because we heard he was fit. We've seen the training pictures. There's been something last minute where he's not passed a fitness test? Is something re-triggered? I'm very, very worried about this, because Reguilon was good. I was basically convinced he was starting today. I'm very shocked about this. And Lindelof at left back, Ricky, it's not quite the level that we need, is it?
Lindelof's decent, but he's not a great fullback. No, he's better. I like him as a centre back, I really do. But as a fullback, I'm not convinced by him at all. And I think I'm surprised, because I think this happened last time. I'm surprised that he's not playing right back with Dalot being switched to left back, because Dalot has had some fine games at left back.
I think that's what's going to happen.
I don't think he did last time, though, did it?
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. But I think that's what's going to happen, because Lindelof can play right back and Dalot's really good at left back. I think that's what's going to happen. So, sorry about the graphics if you guys can see Dalot as the right back, but my presumption is that Dalot's going to play left and Lindelof's going to play right.
Really? Because over the last couple of games when we've seen it, Dalot's always played right back, and you've had Amrabat and Lindelof interchanging at left back. So why would he change that?
I don't know. I'm hoping so.
I always thought at the time it's very odd that Dalot had such a great game against Saka at left back at Arsenal, and then since then he's stuck him at right back and even made Lindelof play left back when realistically he should be swapped over. That's what I would do, but I think I thought Ten Hag saw it differently. But he's not got a left back available. It has to be done at the end of the day.
Yeah, listen, Manchester United going and getting Sergio Reguilon on a loan is actually sackable offence. Whoever's made that decision. No. I'm pleased. It's sackable offence.
What else were we supposed to do? There wasn't any other option. The other option was Cucurella, and then
Alvaro
they played him in a
Fernandes
cup
go on loan.
competition. Alvaro Fernandes he's not a better player than Reguilon, though.
And I agree. I love going with other people's perspective. I agree. But we would have been better off. Because one, we would have had a Manchester United youngster getting minutes, getting improved, developing in the manager's squad.
What happened if he was terrible, though? And all
but it doesn't matter, because at least he would have been terrible on the pitch. And now we've got a different player who's not supposed to be playing that position, going to be terrible on the pitch. Like, So let's be deadly honest. Sofian Amrabat in the left back wasn't pulling up trees, was he?
Yeah, but you've got to be careful with youth products sometimes, you know, to ease them in and not completely throw them in the deep end and then crush all of the confidence. But I would have liked to keep him, but I mean, at the end of the day, we've not got a left back fix.
But you know Sergio Reguilon's history of injuries. You knowingly went and got a player.
Because we didn't really have any other option.
No,
we didn't.
The manager should not be letting players go on. Okay, you know Malacia has been injecting painkillers. This has come out in the news report. You know Luke Shaw's going to be out for a while.
We didn't know that until he got injured, Luke Shaw. It was very last minute near the transfer deadline day.
But still, okay, right. You call it however you wanna do it. But still, you had another left back there that you let go on loan.
I don't think we can blame Erik ten Hag for having 3 left backs injured. I think that's just ridiculous.
But we're not better off.
I just think it's ridiculous. 3 left backs injured, it's not a usual thing in sports. You can't say, oh, well, we shouldn't have gone and got Reguilon. At the end of the day, 3 left backs injured is... It's very, very unusual. There's other things that are definitely at the forefront of my mind that need addressing before that situation. But Ricky, I'll ask you about this one. Højlund, great start at Manchester United so far. Not actually scored a Premier League goal yet, so we want to see that. But he's got Rashford off the left, Anthony off the right, both playing as inverted wingers, both notoriously like to cut in and shoot. Is that a bit concerning for you?
Extremely. Overall, if he was, I mean, that does seem to be his favoured lineup. I mean, Højlund's obviously going to play all the time now, and Rashford plays all the time on the left. No matter how he plays, he always plays the next game. Even though he subbed him the last 3 games, he didn't even used to sub him, did he? He subbed him the last 3 games. And then Anthony on the other side, they're not really creative players for me. They don't create enough good chances, and Højlund's going to get starved of chances, I think. We could get away with it tonight. I said to you earlier, don't underestimate teams in the Premier League. If they're really, really up for it, they can give anybody a game, and you need a tiny little bit of luck to go your way, and a tiny little bit of luck to go against United, and you never know what could happen. So you really could do with making more chances for the lad, and get 2 or 3 goals rather than hanging on to 1 goal or even being level towards the end, as could easily happen, or even behind towards the end. So you know what I mean. It's not that easy, and I don't think we've got a creative team there. We've now got Bruno back in, and I've just looked at the team that played at Burnley, by the way. And Bruno played on the right wing, but because I'm looking at this fixture as a really, really similar fixture to Burnley away, a promoted team, an evening game under the lights, probably a great atmosphere there, the fans mad for it. We had Casemiro and McTominay in midfield at Burnley, with Hannibal just in front, who's a really hard-working player. So it's like playing with 3 midfield players rather than 2. Now, for me, when Bruno plays at 10, you're playing with 2 midfield players. I'm not saying he doesn't work hard, but some of his work goes at the other end of the field rather than it doesn't work. Not that he doesn't work back hard enough, but he's just gets caught forward too often because he does run forward so much. And I just think that team at Burnley was better balanced. And that team at Burnley, with obviously Casemiro's not there tonight, but McTominay, Casemiro and Hannibal, I think that was a better midfield than what we've got out tonight. Plus Bruno on the right wing scored the only goal of the game, by the way.
Interesting stuff, but you're not a fan of Bruno on the right, though, are you?
No.
Interesting stuff. I mean, Faz, we'll talk about that. I just wanted to come back. Williams is one that maybe we could have kept around. He could have been utilised. He's had a good loan, and he's had the experience, I suppose.
I mean, he's now doing well in Ipswich. He just scored a really good goal a couple of weeks ago. But
doing very well there, to be fair.
Yeah, he's doing well, and Ipswich look like they're going to get promoted as well. But I just feel like you knowingly got a player whose injury record is absolutely diabolical, with no disrespect to him, of course, and he's come in and had a very good burst of performances, and people are like, yeah, wow, amazing. But these things are based on probability. And the probability of him getting injured is obviously so high. And funny enough, the injury is actually something he's had numerous times before in his lonely club and his actual club Spurs. So Daniel Levy giving you a player on loan is very concerning. But I understand your perspective. What else would he have done, really and truly? I was under the impression from the people that I spoke to, some of the agents in Manchester United told me that Alvaro wasn't going anywhere. I point blank, I have text messages from agents saying
I think it's better, though, that he goes out and gets the game
and then
time.
24 hours later, he's gone.
He needs to go out and get the game time.
What we'll never know, of course, is if he would have stayed, he still might not be playing ahead of a really experienced pro like Lindelof. He still might be on the bench tonight if he was with us.
Yeah,
so
you've got to be careful with youth players that haven't played before. But, I mean, interesting stuff. One thing I will bring in is a lot of people complain about that back line. I mean, reading it out, Dalot, Maguire, Evans and Lindelof. I mean, it doesn't sound great, does it? But do you think it's enough to do the job?
Yeah, it is. It is. It's only, like, let's be honest, the probability of Sheffield United putting their wing-backs further up on the pitch to support the front two, I don't think they're going to try that a lot. I don't think they're going to be attacking a lot. But then they might look at our lineup, they might look at our midfield now as well and start thinking we might have a chance to try and get a point out of this game and maybe even push for 3 points. I think more so what's important to understand is we've got some very, very tall centre-backs in there, some tall defenders, and that's clearly to make sure, well, one, because we don't have enough players, but also to make sure that we don't concede from a silly set piece or a corner kick or anything as such.
Kobe Mainoo back from injury, not even made the squad. Do you think that's just precautionary?
Precautionary or not, but he needs to be developed a lot more. So I'm not that fussed. I'm more excited to see that Hannibal's in the squad because we could utilise him a bit as well. Maybe take McTominay off and put him on later on in the game. He's had really good performances so far. So yeah, excited to see him if he gets a chance. Yeah,
you look at the bench, and honestly, the bench looks good. I mean, Ricky, Mount, Martial, Eriksen, Garnacho, Varane, Pellistri, Donny van de Beek and Hannibal.
Better than the first team.
That's what I was thinking. I was looking at it thinking, hang on a second, which one's the first team and which one's the bench? Yeah. Half them players on that bench I would have been putting in my starting 11, I think, tonight.
Somewhat of a rotational team, isn't it, today?
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. We all know that I absolutely love Bruno, but I don't know whether tonight you could have afforded to go with Mount in that midfield instead, and you've got Copenhagen and you've got the derby coming up. You want fresh. I know Bruno Fernandes he's got the energy and he's got massive energy, and obviously he's the captain, so he's going to go with it. But I don't know. I'm just thinking, Mount, you've bought him for 60 million. He's the number 7. If him and Bruno can't play together in the same team, I believe they can under the right tactics that we haven't seen yet. I think it's going to become a problem for Ten Hag, maybe. Yeah,
and you know what the other thing is as well? Maybe he's taking the approach where he's managing people's expectations of what they expect Mount to be for Manchester United as well. I've always had a funny theory, and many people don't like this, but I think he's bought Mount because eventually Bruno Fernandes is going to get sold from Manchester United.
Won't happen.
And yeah, it won't happen, but it's just a weird analogy and theory of mine. But I think he's just managing expectation at this point. That's all it is. I do have concerns though is if we don't keep seeing him play Mount and Bruno together on the pitch. He was the one that said in a press conference that the midfield is not the issue when Bruno and Mount were playing together, and everybody said it doesn't work. He said it in a presser that it's not the issue, but then now he's deciding to not go with that midfield partnership, and the midfield becomes too defensive now with McTominay and Amrabat as well. Everyone gets your comments in. Ricky won't agree with it, it's too defensive. But everyone get your comments in about what you're thinking of the team. Ricky, Casemiro injured, obviously not available for Copenhagen as well because of the red card. Amrabat brought in to replace him, McTominay there as well. I said to you on the Brentford game, we looked so much more controlled when Amrabat went into that role and Casemiro came off, and you said, darling, it's because Eriksen came on as well. Do you think Eriksen's a bit unlucky to miss out tonight? Yeah. We haven't got an embarrassment of riches. What did you call it? An embarrassment of averageness. Embarrassment of average. We have got lots and lots of midfield players, and as I said earlier, I'll repeat it. I think we've got 7 midfield players there. If you drew them out of a hat, you'd still have a decent midfield, but never have a absolutely brilliant midfield. Yeah, I mean, Amrabat playing as I know you don't like the term CDM, but that's notoriously what he's going to be playing tonight. He will be the deepest player back, and McTominay, I assume, will be like more of the number 8. Bruno Fernandes is the number 10. Amrabat over Casemiro, do you prefer that choice? The way Casemiro's been this season, I think Amrabat will be equally as good, at least equally as good, so I don't see a problem with that. I do see a little bit of problem, not because of Amrabat though, not because of any of his attributes or abilities, but because because of Bruno Fernandes, and I'll tell you why. Ricky touched on it before. Bruno has this tendency of just being a bit of a free roam, and at times it works in our benefit where he ends up in pockets of spaces where he's away from his marker and he's able to make a pass. But what that does is naturally attract the next midfielder further forward on the pitch, and then in return what that does is leave your CDM or the last midfielder alone and isolated. One of the things that Casemiro was having issues with is being left isolated. I wonder how Amrabat is going to deal with that today if Bruno Fernandes is going on a mad pressing. You know how he goes alone and starts pressing, he leaves his position or doesn't come back quick enough, and then you've got McTominay maybe losing the ball and Amrabat's left alone. I wonder how that's going to work out considering the backline that we have as well. We don't have Martinez, you know, we don't have Varane behind him as well. So that's going to be interesting. And Sheffield are going to look at that and they might end up thinking, let's cram that midfield out and win that midfield battle.
I think Amrabat is more than capable of handling it. I hope I'm not proven wrong. I really do like him, and I think he's somebody that's going to keep it simple and keep possession. Casemiro, as of late, too much hero balls, too much giving the ball away. You are there to protect the back four and keep it simple and lay it off and keep possession in the game. He's failed to do that. He's been very good going forward and getting some goals, but I think Amrabat, in terms of keeping possession, keeping the ball and just being in the right position, for me, I'm very excited to see him play that role. Obviously, Sheffield United aren't going to cause as many problems as, you know, the likes of a team towards the top end of the table, but it's still every team in the Premier League is competition. But guys, a little bit of an update elsewhere. So Raya had a howler. Sanchez has now had a howler as well, and Declan Rice has scored in the 77th minute to make it 2-1. So game on with Arsenal and Chelsea. I'm hoping 2 howlers in this game means no one had a howler later on. Let's hope that he's going to be good. I mean, I'm worried.
I think it's just better you don't say anything.
It proves that all goalkeepers can make mistakes, but I mean, game on. I'll be interested to see how that goes. I mean, Ricky, obviously, Anana had the best start in Manchester United. Today's a day where he could be looking at a clean sheet and should be looking to get a clean sheet to kind of settle into it a little bit.
Yeah, obviously when you play any of the bottom teams, I mean, I've been comparing last season's results to this season's results in the table so far, and all the teams that we beat last season at the bottom of the league, we beat them all 1-0 away from home, I think. Leicester got relegated, Southampton got relegated, I can't remember who the other team was, Leeds, we won 2-0 at Leeds, but we kept a clean sheet at each of those, and these are the teams that have come up. Now we've played Burnley already away, we've won 1-0. So we need to at least match that again, at least get a clean sheet. And let's be honest, as much as there can be tricky fixtures, there's no point denying that an away game against one of the bottom teams shouldn't be as hard as an away game against one of the top teams. So it is obvious, even though I don't like saying it.
On the Man United app, it's showing up as Lindelof as right back and Dalot as left back, but who knows? Maybe we'll be right.
I don't know.
I hope that is correct. I really do, but we'll have to wait and see because sometimes them things, it's not always gospel. Let's put it that way. But I mean, let's move on to a little bit. Bring up our players to watch in this game. Ricky, I didn't ask you because I didn't know if you were going to be on the build-up. You can give us it anyway. Our players to watch in this game. I mean, Faz, you went for Rashford as your first player to watch. Explain why.
I think Marcus Rashford. Can you tell me the last time Marcus Rashford had a man of the match performance for Manchester United?
Not off the top of my head.
It's
no.
probably last season at some point. Maybe Barcelona.
Barcelona away, perhaps.
Yeah,
Barcelona away was definitely man of the match there.
Yeah, but that's what I mean.
Although Ricky gave it Weghorst.
That's what I mean. I think it's long overdue for him to start scoring for Manchester United and having some real input. He scored a fantastic goal for England. A lot of people are giving credit to Bellingham and Foden for that, but you know, a lot of credit goes to him for scoring it as well. Huge amount of pressure on him because I expect at least 20 plus goal contribution GA from him this season. And what a game to start off doing that, maybe get a brace or a goal and an assist. And it's more so because of the amount of pressure from public that's come on Marcus Rashford. It's like everybody looks at Marcus as the saviour of Manchester United, the number one player, the biggest, the face of Manchester United, and they expect so much of him. But I don't. I don't expect Marcus to do things that I know he can't do. I expect him to do the things he does exceptionally well. Just keep doing that. And it's the tiny things, not delaying his dribbling, not delaying his pass, being a bit more direct, you know, cutting the ball in with his left foot, going down the byline, when he gets an opportunity to shoot and not delay it. So stuff like that. I just hope he can do that today because, again, you are going against Sheffield United. But knowing Manchester United, you just never know what happens to you.
I think it's a really good opportunity for him to make his mark and kick back on form-wise. I honestly wouldn't have been shocked if Rashford didn't start today because Ten Hag looks like he's, you know, losing patience a little bit with him. Got hooked at the 62nd minute Brentford game. We actually went on to win that game once he'd been substituted off. Earliest he's ever been substituted under Ten Hag, apart from with injury. So, and it just did start to creep up a little bit. I think if we didn't have the international break, maybe he might not have started tonight. I'm not sure, but Ten Hag does seem to really like him at the same time. But we've had the international break. He did score a very good goal. My ideal front three for this game would have been Garnacho on the left because I think it's really harsh. You know, he did so well at Brentford to be involved in them goals. When he started against Palace in the Cup, he had a really good start. He got a goal from there. I think, again, not to start, to not reward him, I just don't think it sets the right example. But I suppose, hopefully, it's keeping him hungry and raring to go coming off the bench. So I would have started him off the left. Højlund I would have gone with up front, but I would have been tempted to put Rashford on the right-hand side. Like, if you look at Galatasaray,
I would have rather put Mount.
He put that great cross in to Højlund. He should have probably scored as well. You know, his decision-making was terrible when he decided to pass to Bruno. It wasn't a good pass, but I think, you know, on the right, he can be quite dangerous. So I would have been looking to do that. But Rashford is starting off the left. So I think he has to have at least a good performance today across 90 minutes. That's just what I want to see. But
I don't think he plays 90.
No, he won't.
Yeah.
I mean, across the game.
Yeah.
I mean, across the game. But the other... He might play 90, but I doubt it. But the other player to watch you went with was Anthony.
Yes. Yes, someone I'm obviously very much invested in terms of how he helps the team. The diamond that Erik ten Hag had gone in, you know, started using in his games, I think is probably...
Sorry, guys. Arsenal scored again. It's 2-2.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Who scored that, Beth? Sorry, Faz.
No, it's okay.
Having a look now.
Just hit me.
Trossard.
Trossard, right. He's come on as a sub, I think, Trossard.
Wow.
Right. Sorry, Faz, go on.
No, it's okay.
Sorry,
just I don't know why it just hit me as well.
Are you gutted about that? Did you want Arsenal to lose?
Of course.
But Chelsea are our
I
competition.
would rather
really.
drink Arsenal tears than the finest champagne in the world. That's what. But I think a draw benefits us more so than anything.
I suppose, yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, it was a great cross by Saka, but go on.
Anyways, yeah. Where was I? Anthony. Look, I've been going on about it, right, Beth, since last season, how important he is to the team. I've been critical when I need to, but I've also been behind him because I simply understand how important he is to the starting 11, how much help he gives his fullback. And one of the reasons why I always wanted to see Mason Mount play the right wing when Anthony wasn't here is because how much benefit he could be for the fullback as well. Having, you know, Rashford on the right-hand side, I think Diogo Dalot would have just been very, very isolated. I'm excited to see what Anthony does with Dalot today because Dalot, for me, has been one of the most consistent players. And I don't care what anybody says. I never do anyways. But I am so raring to see that partnership that they had start of last season. They were both doing well. Anthony, yes, his numbers aren't crazy for the money that we paid, whatever. But just overall, he's such a key player for the team. He gets involved in the goals. He gets involved in the build-up. He's physical. And I think this season, considering all the turmoil off the pitch that he's gone through and now he's back, I think it's time for him to really, you know, like Mudryk is, stamping his authority and having big moments. I think he needs to start doing that as well. I want to see more of that left foot outside the box goals that he can score. I do think there's so much potential in Anthony, and I haven't written him off. I think he gets a bit of a bad rap, but he definitely does need to improve. Malo Gusto on the back post, by the way, it was terrible defending. Terrible defending. I've just seen the goal back. But, I mean, yeah, I think Anthony, he needs a good game today. He needs to get back into his rhythm. He needs to kick on. He's only young. He just needs to start, again, similar to Rashford, start making the right decisions. But he is an important player for Ten Hag, and he does have the attributes. I mean, Ricky, what are your thoughts on Faz's comments there on Rashford and Anthony?
Well, I agree with him that we need to see more from him, without a doubt. I'm I'm not really a big fan of Anthony, and I'm not a big fan of Rashford's. Definitely not a big fan of Rashford's. And I think, look, Anthony's a decent player. I wouldn't mind seeing him play on the left. I'm like a broken record. I've said time and time again, give a left-footed player a chance on the left and a right-footed player a chance on the right. But you know, Anthony's just a decent winger to me. I think he was too much money for what he brought to the lineup. Yeah,
I can understand people's opinions on that. It was way too much money, but again, that's not Anthony's fault.
That's not his fault, no.
The transfer to Manchester United playing silly money, and it never should have got paid. It never should have got paid. That deal should have been done a lot earlier, or if not, maybe not done at all. But he's here now, and we've got to get behind him. And I do think there is some good attributes there. He's only 22. Yeah, but he's only 22 as well.
When he's not here, you see the chat going, we miss Anthony, we need him so bad. The diamond doesn't work. And then when he comes back, people are like, yeah, he's crap.
I mean, let's see what he does today. I thought he was good when he came on against Brentford, let's put it that way. I had Rashford as one of my players to watch as well, but the other player I had to watch was Bruno Fernandes. I knew he would play, he always does. And he had a good international break. He's doing very well for Portugal.
Against who?
I know the teams aren't great, but he's doing very well for Portugal. In the number 10 role is where he's had his best games for Man United. I really didn't want to see him on the right, so I'm thankful that he's back in central midfield. I think today against Sheffield United, a lot of people call him, a stat padder against the lower teams, like for Portugal. Well, this is a lower team, Sheffield United. Let's see what he can do, and I really hope he has a good game today, and I think he's due. So I'm excited to see him play, and I just want him to get back to his old self for Manchester United, because when he's on form, I think he's such a powerful player for us to have, in my opinion. But Ricky talked to us a little bit. I know you were a bit gutted that Palestri isn't seeing as much game time. I mean, would you like him to come on today?
I'd like him to come on, but if they're going to bring him on, though, that might smack of the fact that we might be desperate. So maybe I don't want him to come on. I'd love us to be 3-0 up at half time and then just decide who we're gonna bring on. So I wouldn't necessarily say I want him to come on, but I would like to see him get more game time, without a doubt. And he is a right-footed right winger, and he does try and get round the back. He does try and get the ball across from the dead ball line. When he got a start against Crystal Palace, I loved the little pass he gave to Dalot inside. That was only like a 3-yard pass. Dalot hooks it across, and we got a goal out of it. Garnacho scored. I love that as well. I absolutely love one winger crossing or helping to cross, and then the other winger coming in at the far post and scoring. I love that sort of football, and that worked brilliantly that night.
Yeah, I would love to see something like that happen again. I do think Palestri's minutes have been cut a little bit since Anthony's come back in, but I would like to see him get a little bit of game time on that right-hand side. Anthony comes off, maybe you see the likes of the Palestri coming on and having that sort of impact. Rashford comes off, you see Garnacho coming on. I mean, you've talked about Højlund and Martial being on the same pitch though as well. I mean, is that something you'd want to see? Martial, do you think Martial's a bit unlucky to not get in tonight in the starting 11?
I don't really know what's... I can't really work it out. I understand that he's been playing mainly as a 9 for the manager. But the manager, the way he was absolutely glowing about Martial as a player, he calls him a brilliant player, a great player. And now suddenly he's got a new striker, and Martial can hardly get a look in, even though he can play on the wing as well. I know he's coming on as a sub pretty regularly. And we tend to play a bit better when he comes on, by the way, which we do. There's no two ways about it. And it's just never, ever giving him a chance. Never giving him a chance. I would love to see Martial playing on the left and Højlund up top. And I think Højlund would benefit from it. I've said before, people might think who have not watched before, they might think that I mean Martial's going to make loads of chances for him. I don't mean that. Martial's the type of player who picks the right passes, holds the ball when it needs holding, passes it when it needs passing, so the team plays better. We spend more time in the final third, and it doesn't really matter who plays the final pass or who plays the final cross. Doesn't matter who puts it in the net. But if Martial plays, we will play better, and Højlund will get more chances.
Yeah, I mean, do you not think it's because of injuries, though, maybe? He's trying to keep him fit?
Well, I don't know about that. It's gone on long enough now, really. It's been... I think it's been about 7 games now. He started him against Crystal Palace, and a lot of people said to me he didn't play great against Crystal Palace, but I don't care. As I'm saying, we will play better, and let's be honest, I know people keep saying, it's Crystal Palace reserves. They made 5 changes, or they made 5 changes from the team that played us in the league, and they beat us in the league. When we played Brentford a week later and nearly lost, Brentford had 7 players out injured. You know what I mean? So what difference does it make? So when we played Crystal Palace and Martial played, like, seriously, it was our best performance of the season, was it or wasn't it?
And we won against Brentford when he came on off the bench.
Yeah. But was it or not the best football that we've played all season against Crystal Palace?
It was, but I also think you've got to look
Never
at the
mind the
circumstance.
but. I don't need the buts. It just was. It was the best we've played, and I don't care who you're playing against. The players that are playing in that game, that's how they play. It's the type of football that they played. Now, obviously, it wouldn't work quite so well if you was playing against Manchester City or playing against Liverpool. It'd be more difficult to play like that. But hardly any of the teams in the league are that much better than Crystal Palace or that much better than Brentford. Do you know what I mean? Most of the teams we could chance playing with that lineup that played against Crystal Palace, and they'd do perfectly fine.
Can I just say on Martial as well, I've been saying this, that the manager's patience with him is going to probably run thin. And a player that gets that many times injured, the manager doesn't have trust in you. Doesn't matter what type of player you are. I remember saying this on forums. And on top of that as well, Anthony Martial is nowhere near the player that he was when he started off for Manchester United at his prime as well. Because the injuries biologically take a hindrance on your body, and you don't end up playing like the way you used to, because you're just not the same, are you? So I think that's why he's got a new Lamborghini striker that he can use, and he uses him more. So that's just what it is.
Zanny K says Martial robbed of a start. Eric Ten Hag. Another chat saying maybe saving him for the derby. He was the best. I think it's not the best, but he was one of the most important players in our win against City, home win against City last season. The job he did on Rodri in that first half. I know he had to come off because of injury, but he was brilliant in that game. I'd be very shocked to not see him play a part in that in the derby next week.
That's an interesting point. Maybe
managing his fitness there. And Ricky, you know, when you were saying never mind any buts, it reminded me like when my dad's telling me to clean the kitchen at home, and I'm like, but can I just do that? He says, never mind, do it now. He'll be watching, so hi Dad. But yeah, anyway, but I said it again. I've said it again. Looking score predictions. Now you've seen the lineup, Ricky. You've seen the lineup, so you've got no excuses. You've got to give us a score prediction. What are you going with?
1-0 United.
1-0. 1-0, 8 p.m. kickoff. You can see it, can't you? But as long as you get the 3 points, I suppose. Faz, everyone get yours in the chat as well.
3-0 Manchester United.
3-0?
Yeah.
Clean sheet?
Yes.
Got confidence in Onana for a clean sheet?
No. Absolutely not. But he has to be.
What do you want to see from Onana tonight?
There's no point me saying it, because we don't have the players that can play the football that I want him to play. We don't have ball carrying centre backs, receiving midfielders. McTominay isn't gonna. I don't want to say it, but McTominay isn't gonna be showing for the ball as much as I'd like him to. Amrabat is really good though on the ball, so that'd be interesting to see if he receives it. But just everyone else around. Dalot is really good on the ball as well, but. Yeah, it's just I don't expect him to be making great line-breaking passes to the centre backs or the midfielders. So just make some saves. Pinpoint cross the ball to Anthony, maybe, get Anthony when he's isolated, when he's got no one around him, find him maybe. And I'm excited to see, weird as it sounds, right? I'm very excited to see Johnny Evans. I don't know why. He's had some good performances, and just like Ricky says against Burnley, Bruno scored, and it's a similar game.
These are types of teams that he suits these sort of games.
Yeah, it's like they're gonna sit back, they're gonna have 5 at the back at times, and you want that Johnny Evans long ball to someone to see if they can maybe get on the ball and score a goal, maybe to Rasmus, maybe to Bruno. But I'm looking forward to see how Johnny does, because I just hope neither of them end up making a mistake, because let's be honest, Johnny Evans, Harry Maguire, Lindelof, they all have a mistake in them.
You've gone 3-0.
Yes.
Give me your goal scorers as well.
Marcus Rashford, Rasmus Højlund. I think Rasmus gets a brace and Rashford gets 1.
Interesting stuff. Ricky, who's your goal scorer?
Oh, that's a tough one, isn't it? That's a tough one. Scott McTominay.
Oh, how tough was that? How tough was that? Had to sit there and think for a while, didn't you?
Genuinely could have put my life savings on that being the answer. I'm going with a 2-0 Manchester United win, I hope. I don't see us scoring 3, but I reckon we can get 2. I'm going with Højlund purely because he's in my fantasy football team, so I'd like him to score. So I'm putting it into the atmosphere. Although everything I always say, the opposite happens, so maybe not. But yeah, Højlund I'm going with, and I think Rashford needs to get a goal as well. I reckon we'll see Rashford score. You know, one goal usually gives him a little bit of confidence, doesn't it? Coming off the England game, Sheffield United, I think he'll have some confidence driving at players. We'll have to see. Well, Sheffield United are going to set up to defend in a bit of a low block, so we're going to find it hard to kind of cut them open. I don't expect a high-scoring game. A lot of people in the chat are saying 4-0, 4-1, 5-1. Sometimes we get a bit carried away, don't we, Ricky?
Absolutely.
Mark's score prediction.
What was Mark's score prediction?
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Go on.
4-0.
How do you know that?
Because I can think like how Mark thinks that. He's texted me.
Is he text you?
Yeah, he's texted me.
4-0.
He's gone for 4-0.
I just don't get from watching Man United where you'd pull 4-0 from, because do you know we've only scored 4 goals under Erik ten Hag once, and that was against Chelsea last season, where Chelsea's season was completely done. So they had nothing left to play for.
We don't score 3 very often, do we?
No, we, like you said,
4.
we only usually win by like 1 goal margin. So, I mean, I hope that. I mean, someone in the chat, Ricky, says Johnny Evans scores from a header. Would you like to see that?
I'd love to see that, yeah.
Also, guys, everyone's saying, let me have a dream, Beth. Okay, fair enough. You have a dream. Hopefully it does happen. Also, guys, we've got with us today, here, I mean, Ricky, rate this jumper out of 10.
Oh, 11.
11 out of 10, exactly. We have got the class of 92 Christmas jumpers on sale. You'll have seen me wearing mine throughout the week, but it does get a little bit warm in the studio, so we've laid it on the table today. And you can get yours. Click the link in the description below. I can't tell you how many compliments I've had on it. And coming up to the Christmas season, the reason why they're coming out very early in the autumnal season is because they sell out so quickly, and you want to get it shipped to your house, get it in time for Christmas. Make sure you click the link in the description to go and get yours. We'll be all sporting ours at the Christmas show in December in Manchester, 11th of December Christmas show. Tickets still available. Me, Ricky and Faz will all be there. I've seen some of the plans for it. It's going to be great. Make sure you come and join us in and come along. So that'll be nice as well. But yeah.
We'll be doing a talent show as well, Marcus said, hasn't he?
I don't know if that's supposed to be going out yet to the public.
But he said it on the live.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Did he say it on the live? Okay, never mind. I didn't know.
Yeah, he did. He said, send in your clips. Yeah, he said it on the live.
I was told we were meant to put it out in a different way, but I've not been
I'm sorry,
communicated
Mr.
to, clearly.
Goldbridge. After a couple of glasses of wine, you've let the secret out.
Yeah,
so it ain't my fault.
The thing is, I think Mr. Goldbridge just got a bit carried away and wanted to get it out there before.
He did.
Do you know, I'm not joking. I spent the whole of the day doing a plan of how we're going to launch it and advertise it.
Well,
Mark's
it's
just
gone
gone
because
to YouTube and
I was washing my dishes and then I just hear him say talent show and I was like, wait, I'm sure this is, and he just said it, so I thought, well,
I mean, it'll be interesting. Yeah, well,
what's your hidden talent?
Cat's out the bag. My hidden talent, I can't tell you it's hidden. Can't say it live on air.
Okay.
No, not like that.
Okay.
But anyway, guys, I mean, Mark's not actually live yet because we've still got 7 minutes left of the Chelsea. We're in 7 minutes injury time of the Chelsea-Arsenal game, so let's have a little bit more of a discussion. Ricky, I mean, obviously we've got Sheffield United coming up, but this week's an important week. We've got Copenhagen, we've also got the City game, the derby at the weekend. How many points do you expect to get in the course of this week, including the City game coming up?
Out of the 3 games, obviously one's a Champions League game, but it still counts for points, doesn't it? I'll go 6. I'll go 3 tonight and 3 on Tuesday.
So you don't think we've got a chance against City?
I can't really see it.
You never know. You never know.
We beat them last year. In fact, I'll touch back on that. What I said before. I was looking at the results of last year's fixtures compared to the very same fixtures this year. For example, we drew at Spurs last year and we've lost there this year, so we've lost a point there. And Crystal Palace last year, we beat them at Old Trafford and we've lost to them at Old Trafford. So we've lost 4 points that we won last year, and all the rest of the results are exactly the same. So I don't think that can continue, especially when you consider that we beat City, we beat Liverpool, we beat Arsenal, we beat Spurs, we beat Chelsea, we beat all of those teams at Old Trafford last year. It's not going to happen again, no matter how much you hope for it. It's not going to happen again. I'm not saying we won't win any of them, but we won't win all of those games.
How do you know?
We need to. Well,
is that your hidden talent, Ricky?
I'll be amazed.
You got a crystal ball?
I'll be amazed. I'll be amazed if we win all of those games this year. So we really do need to try and keep up when we're playing against the smaller teams, if you like, outside those really big sides. So We're already 4 points down on last season's fixtures with 8 games gone. It's half a point a game. If that continues over the season, we'll have 19 points less this season than we had last season.
Well, we better shape up.
We had better shape up.
Starting tonight, hopefully, and I hope to God
Got
that
to win tonight.
I mean, we've got to win on Tuesday as well, but we'll touch on that in the build-up on Tuesday. But it is all about tonight. I've just realised what my hidden talent is. I don't think it is really that much of a talent, but I think it is for somebody of my size. I can do 35 press-ups in a row.
Is it?
I was full ones as well, not the ones where you're on your knees. Full ones.
Is it?
Yeah. So maybe I'll get that out of the. I'm not doing it live. I'm not doing it live on air, but I can do them. What's your hidden talent?
It's not hidden really, but I waffle a lot, don't I?
I mean, it's not. It's not a talent. We'll figure it out. Everyone, get your hidden talents in the chat as well. Everyone, let us know.
No, actually, my hidden talent that a lot of people don't know is I can paint.
You can paint?
Yeah.
As in art history?
Yes.
Nice. You'll have to paint me a picture.
You'll have to paint
Next time you annoy me, so probably in about an hour, you can go home and paint me a picture.
All right, okay.
You can paint a picture of Manchester United winning the Champions League with Erik ten Hag. Trying to put it into existence. But yeah, anyway. Anyway, everyone. I mean, let me just check quickly on the... I just want to quickly check on the score of the Chelsea-Arsenal game, because it does affect us.
They finished...
Is it finished a draw?
Finished 2-2.
I think that's a good result for Man United. I mean, Ricky, what are your thoughts on that and how it affects United?
It's a bit early in the season to be worrying about Arsenal picking up 1 point. I mean, I don't think we're going to compete with Arsenal at the end of the day. But I suppose it's a good result for us as regards Chelsea. But like I said earlier, are we going to be competing for the top 5 even? If we're going to finish 8th, for example, and Chelsea are going to finish 7th or 9th, I don't really care. It's about if they stop us finishing in a Champions League place or even a Europa League place.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
that could happen.
It's going to be a scrap to get there. Slow Sports News member for 34 months says, sitting in Milan getting booed whilst wearing my United shirt. Brilliant. Love the banter. And I'm sitting there like, come on, United. Love stories like that, don't we? Love stories like that. Have a brilliant time, Milan. I got told in my ear that there's been a comment about Faz in the chat, but I can't see it, so you read it out.
I've got it. Matt says, Faz's talent is losing every game of FIFA, yet still staying in our club's team.
Oh, I think that's a bit of a hint to you, Faz, to get out.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but it's hard. I'll be honest. Every week, I finish playing FIFA with the team, and my back is hurting because I end up carrying the team every game. So,
by that, carrying them to a loss.
Well, it ain't my fault if Matt is missing sitters.
I feel very left out, Ricky. They've got a United Stand FIFA team that they play on every night, and we're not involved. I'm feeling very left out on it, but I mean, I've been told to get a PS5. You know what? Get one in the studio, and then maybe I'll think about it. But anyway, guys. So game tonight, 8 p.m. kickoff. I mean, Faz, any last words? What would you actually? Let's do your team talk. Faz's motivational team talk to the players.
This club is known for many, many great things. And today we have, by very, very unfortunate circumstances, lost one of the footballing icons and legends of the world. Someone who's wore this shirt, someone who's had huge amounts of accolades with this club, someone who's survived some very, very traumatic moments with this club. And he is part of everything what this club is. And when you put that shirt on today, boys, you put it on with pride, you put it on with honor, and you put it on for him. So today you go out there and you represent everything that Sir Bobby Charlton was, and you go and get the win for him.
I love that, Faz. I really do love that. And I mean, tonight you expect to see every single player fighting on that pitch, and obviously it's a really, really sad day for Manchester United, an absolute icon and legend of the footballing world, not just for Manchester United, but of the footballing world. But I mean, Ricky, do you want to say any words on that? Because
you've had the luxury and blessing of...
I saw Bobby Charlton play a couple of times, yeah. I've met him 2 or 3 times as well, and during the World Cup in Japan, I can't remember what year that was, I was lucky enough to be on the same train as him and sat with him for half an hour.
Wow.
And he was an absolute, with Lady Norma, he was an absolute gentleman, and when I say half an hour, some people who are watching might think that I was prolonging me, overstaying me welcome, but it wasn't the case. He was prolonging the conversation about football just as much as I was, and it was fantastic. He was an absolute gentleman.
Lovely guy. I seen your WhatsApp pic as you and Sir Bobby, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that. Anyway, guys, on that note, obviously, we'll be playing for Sir Bobby tonight, the whole Manchester United team, and condolences to his family. What an amazing life he led. And thank you, everybody, for watching in and tuning into the build-up show. Let's go United. Come on, let's get the 3 points. Mark is live now. After this video ends, it'll take you straight onto his watch-along. Let's get behind the team tonight and let's get the 3 points. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and we will see you later. Match reaction, final score, fan forum, all here on the United Stand. So see you later, everybody.